I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Swallow the Sun. I need a charger. This is Falling World by the band Swallow the Sun. Good Lord.
It's for the True Cult.
For the True Cult Alliance. What is an alliance, dear listener? Alliance is when you jump on Patreon, starts at $1 at the gate. You combine your points in, and then that dictates what songs that we do. So the True Cult Alliance, headed up by the big homie Damon Sage. Generally a black metal alliance, but sometimes they'll veer off the range. This is a
this one is
a melodic death metal band, doom metal.
Doom metal.
But that's how the alliances work. Maybe there was a lot of black metal folks, but somebody really wanted Swallow the Sun. They convinced a group. That's how it works. So that's how the alliances work. So that starts at $1 at the gate. You know, there are other tiers. $5 tier. There's a $125 tier. There's there's multiple tiers,
different
and
options,
there's things that you can do, different options. Shout out to Jan, shout out to Jamie, shout out to Brian, all the new patrons. Thank you very much. We love and appreciate you people. But right now, it is a True Cult's time to shine. So we are going to listen to Swallow the Sun. I don't know if this broke. We're going to listen to Swallow the Sun. Falling World. And by the way, I just sent some top secret guitar tracks to some people, so be on the lookout for the first ever Village track. We don't even have a band name yet, so I told Sarkass, I was like, we gotta come up with a band name, and it can't be dumb. So there you go. All right, let's do it.
Ready?
Oh, wow.
Such a sucker for the melodic stuff. I really am. I just, wow, really enjoyed that.
It's definitely doomy.
Yep.
You know, like, that's one of the things that I've had to, it's one of the things I learned from the channel. It's another thing I've learned from the channel is like, there's some songs that, because, you know, when you start off listening to new metal, your brain gets used to the sort of roller coaster. Chord starts out somewhere, then they get low in the middle, and then the rising action at the end, and it's a big flurry at the end. And so, like, for a lot of the songs at the beginning, especially a lot of the doom metal stuff, I was always like waiting for it to get.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of stayed. The tempo kind of stays level, and the mood of the song kind of stays level. So when I first got introduced to doom metal on the channel, I wasn't very good with it, you know, because I didn't know where to put it, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was always waiting for some giant flurry that never came.
Oh, yeah.
So now, I know for a fact what's happening when I'm listening to I'm like, okay, this is the doom track, so it's probably not going to have a big flurry, and so then it's a slow burn type of thing.
I like slow burn songs. Those are like my go-tos when I'm feeling certain ways. So slow burns are great for me. I mean,
well, yeah,
that song I put in the car.
I was just gonna say that song in the car. It just kind of stayed.
It wasn't going anywhere.
Kind of stayed level.
Yep.
Didn't go anywhere.
Nope.
Didn't travel. There was nothing, and you accurately predicted that I'd hate the song, and I did. But I listened all the way through. Okay, so
you had no choice. I plugged my phone. I'm like, I'm doing this.
So Falling World from the record New Moon came out in 2009, and this was the second. This was the second track, and then you've got track 8 that says Weight of the Dead. So I think this song is. What did you get from this song? Like, what did you? Oh, Sleepless Swans. That's a good title.
Sleepless Swans.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, wouldn't somebody, I can't remember now, I looked it up and now I forgot. Wouldn't they say my swan song? What is that?
That's like
your comeback song?
No, that's you're leaving.
Oh, you're leaving.
You're never coming back.
And that one was what? What did it call?
Sleepless Swans.
Ooh, boy.
But anyway, go ahead.
To me it just seemed like someone who was kind of like at the end, like very depressed and, you know, talking about hold me, few more steps and I will fall. Like, it kind of seemed like it was somebody that was like depressed and they were kind of like at the end of themselves, but yet at the same time, like they didn't want to go alone, you know, they didn't want to feel that sorrow alone. So, but they felt like they were feeling like this burden that was on them all the time, which is just the curse of every band, not something that was super significant to them necessarily, but just what people endure. And then just kind of like trying to find a place for, like, how does that fit into the world? That's just kind of what it seemed like to me.
I don't know who's speaking necessarily to who, because right from verse 1, he's saying, hold me, the world is falling down on me. And then it talks about, is it the dead or death that walks among us? That's a very good line, actually. And then the chorus says, close your eyes but stay awake. They are trying to crawl inside your head. Wish I could end this all today, but like all good, our hope fades away. And then it says, watch me, I'll take you with me, too sad to leave alone. And then it says, close your eyes, stay awake. So I don't know, like, if this is a person he's in a relationship with, and he's trying to convince her to die with him.
Oh my gosh.
Which is pretty. There was this one couple, it was a very strange situation in my mind anyway, where they were like a Tony Robbins type couple. They were like very like positivity,
okay.
very positive and upbuilding, da da da, and they both killed themselves. They were like big
Together?
yeah, they were a big radio couple, and they both did themselves in. I never thought that was.
They didn't leave a letter saying why they did that?
I don't know. I didn't really look a lot into it. I was just like, I was so
surprised that they did that together.
Well, I was actually.
That they were the type of people.
I was pretty upset at them actually for doing that, because it was like, you know, you put yourselves out there as this, you know, couple of positivity and things like that. You have all these people following you, and then you go and do that. So then I'm like, all the other people that were following them now, because it's one thing like if you're. This is why I hate projecting something that you're not when you're a person that for whatever reason gets some sort of notoriety in the you know, whatever. It's because it's shit like that. It's like you've got all these people and you're putting out all this positivity and you know you can overcome life and blah blah blah, and then randomly out of nowhere these two kill themselves, and then all the people that were following them. I mean, obviously they have their own agency, they can make their own decisions, but at the same time it's like that's pretty frustrating to me.
Maybe they started their thing like full of positivity and they were like, you know, life's bad but things can, and then like, I mean, if that's what you're doing exclusively, you must hear so many stories and so many things.
Yeah, well, be honest about it.
Yeah.
You know, like I you know, I talk about, you know, I'm a Christian, yada yada yada, I believe the whole thing and I do it every fiber of my being, but I still have bouts of depression and I still have bouts with, you know, you know, I've talked about how I struggle with, you know, not getting physical with situations with people, because that was my background. Like I'm but you know, that's why. So like if somebody, you know, were to watch me doing something like that, they'd say, yeah, that's one of Vince's problems.
Yeah.
You know, but these two presented themselves as if they were like completely, you know, they were good, they were fine, and, you know, they were out there helping other people and yada, 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 and they were not very straightforward with what they were struggling. It'd be a different thing if they were both straightforward with what they were struggling with, and then they died. Okay.
Well, yeah, but if your whole shtick is how, you know, positive you are and blah blah blah. Shoot, I tagged you in something that I wanted to show you here because I thought it would fit into the conversation, but I don't see it in your tags. Did you see that thing about the little boy? He's 6 years old and a dog came to attack his sister.
Yeah,
and he like got in the middle of that, and his little face is all like stitched up and stuff. But like, I don't know. I just thought that was.
What does that have to do with?
I guess I just thought of it because it was like there's so much bad that you read, you know, in the news and in YouTube and Facebook and all these different things. There's like so much and like so much tragedy all the time and stuff. And then that to me was like, I mean, it was horrible what the dog did to him, but he saved the life of his sister and he's still alive too, you know. So it was just a little bit of sorrowful positivity, I guess.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that kid was, you know, that's got a lot of implications. I was gonna post it on the village. I decided against it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that would have a problem with that. Let's say it that way. But yeah. So it looks like he's like saying, you know, he's too sad to leave alone and things like that. And like I said, like that kind of, you know, popped that whole situation into my mind because I think it's one thing you're struggling with depression and things of that nature,
but to influence somebody else,
to influence somebody else to do that with you, I think is absolutely horrible. Especially considering nobody in their right mind is going to go along with you, which means that you're already taking somebody who's on the edge and then you're using your impending death to push them over the edge. I just think that's absolutely horrific. So I was just thinking about this couple, and you know, and
everybody's life affects other people's lives. So, you know, I don't know if that decision that they made influenced someone else to do that too. And just that's horrible.
Well, that's what especially with that particular couple. I'm like, I'm like,
oh my gosh, you hear this picture of hope, and
yeah.
what did they say in the song? He said something about hope. It all fades away.
Yeah,
But like all good, our hope fades away.
And I know, with my background and knowing things of that nature, that suicide doesn't just like randomly creep up on people. Most people who actually completed have had 2 or 3 attempts prior to completing it. So it's not like they were doing as good as they were projecting that they were, and then woke up randomly one day and decided to do themselves in. Like, they were going down a downward spiral, and they didn't let anybody know. And then they go off and do that without any warning or thing like that. Like, that's just horrible to me. And I don't care what they said in the note or whatever, because if it was positive, it was still negative. And it, so just crazy stuff. But anyway, that's what I was thinking about when I saw that. I was like, here we go. Close your eyes, but stay awake. They're trying to crawl inside
You know what it made me think of? You know those tribes where when the father dies, they like kill the kids or kill the wife or something and throw them in the grave with them?
Well,
It
Pharaoh.
reminded me of that.
Yeah, like,
oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, Pharaoh, he died, and his couple of his
There was
servants
another
would go
tribe
there.
that I read that
And
they
then
did that as well.
There was
I think it was actually...
we saw it on Vikings, too.
Yeah, but I think it was also that same tribe, the End of the Spear people. I think they also did that.
Yeah. Yeah, in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
Close your eyes but stay awake is a good line, I think, because I think because maybe it's the other person speaking to the suicidal guy saying, close your eyes but stay awake means, in my mind, rest but don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to crawl inside your head. Like, all this negativity that you're looking at and all the rest of it is trying to crawl inside your head. And if you let it crawl inside your head, you're going to die. And he responds by saying, I wish I could end this all today, but like all good, our hope fades away.
Oh, okay.
But see, this depends on what side of the street you're on, because to some degree, every good thing fades away. But there's also a degree in which bad things fade away too.
Yeah.
When I was in, when you were in elementary school, this world-ending situation in your life that you thought you'd never recover from, you don't even remember it anymore.
Right.
And so, like, it's kind of like the Opeth song we're looking at, where it was like, not everything, if everything fades away, that means badness fades away too. So what you do is you just suck out all the juice of the positivity, and then you throw away the negativity like a rind, and you understand that the negativity is going to fade away at some point anyway. And a lot of times that is the difference in endurance and quitting, is recognizing that the thing that you're enduring is going to have an end point.
Well, I think too that, being a person who looks for the positivity rather than the negativity, that's also helpful too, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and like literally the only things that they were bringing up was all the bad things that happened, but there was a lot of really good things in the middle there too that weren't even being discussed. And I don't even think, every time I hear the person recant the story, they never, or retell the story, I don't ever hear them saying anything about the good things that were in that time. It's always just the bad stuff. And like, I understand how bad stuff affects you and it really sticks in your mind and stuff. But at the same time, if we don't train ourselves to also recognize the good and hold on to the good, then you're going to get overcome. If you're only looking out for negativity and that's all you're remembering, and that's what you're allowing to stick out in your mind, then you're not going to notice the good moments in your life and the moments where, stuff was sent to you to bring hope or to chase away pain. And because life is not all bad. I think that there are degrees of bad, and everybody has different ways that they suffer, and some people I think suffer a lot more than other people. But it's not.
If you have the gift of music to express that you're depressed, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? So, and of course, I don't think that this guy is saying, I want to kill myself and bring a whole bunch of people with me, because they made an entire record, which you have to have a lot of determination and a lot of stick to itiveness to do that. But there's a lot of people there's these hardcore alpha male muscle-headed fools who I've seen just completely tap out of, selection courses because they didn't know when the thing was going to end. So, if they knew the specific point in time when that particular evolution was going to end, they were good. But if they didn't know, and then if they didn't know where they were going and what time they were supposed to be, they couldn't deal with it. They couldn't hack it.
Yeah, that's...
So a lot of times that's the difference between staying alive and dying, and the difference between, passing a test or whatever is recognizing that it's going to fade. It's going to end at some point. But if you only focus on, well, the good is going to fade too, and then if that's the only thing you think about, then you've got kind of like a half vision worldview, because yes, it's true, the rose is going to fade, and your people you love are going to die, or you're going to die before them, or whatever. But at the same time, it's like all the negative, painful things that you feel. You got a broken leg, it's going to heal eventually. You got that's going to fade too. And so you have a more, and obviously for us as Christians, we've got the cross, which brings both of that together. Because what we say is that, Jesus suffered eternally so that all of our suffering will be temporal.
Yeah.
And that Jesus' resurrection means that the good is actually going to outlast the negativity. And that the good is going to be eternal, and that the pain that we have here is light and momentary. But if you don't have this as a framework to operate from, you can still try to get there. The benefit of having Christianity is that there's been a template that's been laid out for us for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And all the whatabouts and what about this and what about that, all those have been discussed ad nauseum infinitum. So you can, but I still think it's possible to still have one of those, a positive outlook and a positive worldview without necessarily being a Christian. But everybody has to work on it. Everybody has to create, one of my favorite preachers talked about a theology of suffering, and a theology of endurance and how that works. And if you don't want to do it with the theology, then you have to come up with a metaphysical framework from which you can do that. So, and there's ways to do it. I'm not the guy to talk to about, because all I'll tell you is about Jesus, but I'm sure there's ways that people, have found ways to try to, create some sort of synthesis between those two realities of existence and come out with something positive.
It's interesting because you can fall off the wagon on both sides. One is you only see negativity, and one is you falsely see only positives.
Correct.
And so then you don't have any real way of dealing with bad things that come, or when, something really tragic that you can't Pollyanna out your way out of, So yeah. I think for me, that was kind of part of my issue, was I always wanted to just be such a positive, always see that. And then when bad things came along, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
So, and then I think that I pushed off some of my pain, and then I had to deal with it later. And then when I really started dealing with it, I was dealing with another situation that got thrown. So you just, I can really feel a lot.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this song. I gotta tell you, I liked see, sometimes when a song finishes and it's a song where, because we're talking about kind of dying, and it did sound like he was touching on suicide and stuff in here. Sometimes I listen to some songs and at the end I feel yeah, we should all just kill ourselves. The way that the song just kind of makes you feel, it just feels so horrible. This one didn't feel like that. It felt just kind of sad and kind of drawn out, but I liked it. I liked the way that it kind of made me feel. I wouldn't, live in that sound forever, but definitely something that I would listen to on particular nights or whatever. So I'm a fan of it. I liked the vocal style, I enjoyed, and when he got into the death vocals, I liked that. The whole thing I really enjoyed. I think it's a 9.8 for me.
It's 8.8 for me. It was all right. It was all right. There you go.
You can be wrong.
Shout out to the big homie David Sage. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.